Welcome to Microbiz Matters, a 7-day podcast in the lead up to Microbiz Matters Day.
Hello and welcome back. I'm Deborah Levitt, and as before, I am joined by Tony Robinson, OBE, and Tina Bowden, who are the co-founders of Microbiz Matters. Microbiz Matters Day is getting ever closer, and in today's episode, we are talking about how they have to be prepared to deal with the unexpected. They're dealing with people who are there in person, as well as people joining remotely, and that, as any live event, if you've ever watched a live event, you know that things don't always go to plan. So we talk about that, but I was also curious about how the day itself actually unfolds and what happens on the day. So Tony takes us through what is going on, what happens when people arrive. We talk about doing morning sessions in onesies, so they swear they're not going to walk through Hull in their onesies at 6 a.m. What entertainment might be waiting for those of you who are actually going to be in Hull and stay till the end of the day. And I've got a little bit of some information from some of my special guests as well, who will be joining at various points throughout today's episode. So join me now as we start again with Tony and Tina. Good morning, Tony and Tina. How are you this lovely Sunday morning? I'm hoping that it will be a lovely Sunday.
Lazy Sunday morning, Deborah. Lovely to see you.
There's nothing about the Sunday before Microbiz Matters Day, I can assure you. So it's always chaos between the period after Christmas and New Year and the Microbiz Matters Day, whatever, when it's nice to have that extra bit, because it's always the second Friday of January, but the second Friday of January could be as early as the 8th. So it's like straight into it after New Year, whereas this year it feels quite relaxed. Well, sort of.
I mean, and the great thing about Sunday, it's the only day that Tina and I will get for the rest up to Microbiz Matters Day, where we can actually do some like serious planning and scheduling all of the guests in the different slots and all, and who's going to be interviewed, who's going to be in the studio, because we kind of like, as you can imagine, we're running like separate programs, Tina and I, in two different areas of this Guildhall, one being Facebook's live stream and one being YouTube live stream. And so we've got to put all the schedules together. And it's got to be done on Sunday, because I can tell you, for the rest of Monday to Friday, it is sheer panic kind of thing, and from Thursday morning we're in tech setup and rehearsals and getting it all put together and things like that. So this is the only day really that Tina and I can actually separately plan out what we're going to hopefully achieve on the day.
And hopefully not have double booked. So, one person is meant to be in two studios at the same time.
Don't even go there.
Sorry.
It's fine. I'm sure you've watched enough live television programs to have seen. It's how you deal with these little, not disasters, curveballs.
Yes, as you say, it's knowing that something is going to go wrong, and you just have to manage it in some way, shape, or form.
Absolutely,
because it will go wrong with live anything, and as I'm sure everybody's come to realise by now on this fourth day of podcast or third day of podcast, Tony and I can actually fill any gap with plenty of talk, because we can talk.
Yeah. So, and the other good thing is that because we're in separate rooms all the time, we get on really well all through the day.
So this is a deliberate plan. If you keep yourselves in separate rooms, there's no fighting.
No, works best. That's all right. It's good.
No, there's no disagreeing on. Anyway.
And the other thing I think that's great. We don't know what will happen at the Guildhall, but usually it only takes the guests and everybody about half an hour, 3/4 of an hour to kind of realise that it is really informal and it's fun and there's coffee on tap and they can walk anywhere, do anything, watch anything, film anything, and they soon get into the swing of it, because frankly, I think it is unique. Yeah, it is the only day like this that ever happens, really. It's like, and people are used to going to a conference and seminars and being talked at. Well, of course, we're not. We're just interviewing lots and lots of other business owners that can actually provide practical advice and help to help them have a successful year in their micro businesses. So it's
as Tony's just said, one of the things about Microbiz Matters Day is that it's all about micro businesses helping other micro businesses. It's giving information, recognizing people, learning, taking action. And I thought this was an ideal opportunity to introduce one of my guests. I spoke to Jake Liddell on Friday. Jake is one of the co-founders of WP Aid, and I asked him what it was that he would be able to do for the I Gave 11 campaign for Microbiz Matters Day. And it's, can you give 11 of something? It could be 11 minutes. It could be 11 blog points to, give somebody guidance or any sort of thing. And I was just wondering if there's anything you could do, Jake.
Well, I'm in the process of writing a lot of content, which I'm hoping will go into a book. There's quite a lot of pages still to write, but the book is going to be about the automatic business. So my goal will be to write a book about how to automate the things that can be automated very cheaply and efficiently. So why don't I try and write a blog post that just sets out 11 things that a small and micro business can do to automate some of the rubbish that they end up having to do all the time.
That would be absolutely fantastic. So why not give some thought to what you can do for I Gave 11? You could just go on and retweet and support the day through social media, put out your own blog, whatever takes your fancy, and don't forget to tweet about it. Now we rejoin Tony and Tina.
Yeah, and over the years there's been some great friendships formed at Microbiz Matters Day, or people that have met each other that have maybe been just talking on social media or Twitter or whatever. So it's good. It's really, really good. And those that have got lots of experience mixed with those that are only just starting out. So it's a great place to be. And as Tony said, it's not it's certainly not formal. It's very informal.
And those that stay to the end get the bonus of some entertainment to finish the day, then they can all go home.
And do you have any idea who the entertainment is going to be, or is that still in the finalization stages?
Tomorrow. We'll tell you tomorrow.
We'll tell you tomorrow exactly who it is. I think it's going to be absolutely fabulous. I mean, if I mentioned no, I won't mention anything.
No,
we'll leave it till tomorrow.
We'll leave it till, So Monday's breaking news will be who the entertainment is going to be.
That's right. Absolutely. Yeah.
Hold that page.
That's right. It's hold the front page, isn't it?
Yeah.
So when you're at the event itself, the actual, you're there in Hull, and you've said that you've got we've got Tina who's running the YouTube live streaming side of it. So is she in a separate space where she all of that bit?
Yeah, sure. Let me explain what happens. So the guests will actually come into a very large area. It's in the Guildhall, so it's absolutely beautiful. There's a banqueting hall, and then there's another room which is a reception area. And the guests will all come in there, and our helpers will actually, the star guests that we have, a lot of those will actually do an interview with me in the kind of reception area room where we have lots of young entrepreneurs with their stands and various things, so that it's very buzzy and very exciting. They can get a coffee and they can listen, and they can, on Facebook Live, I will be live streaming these interviews. In the other room, in the banqueting hall, I'll be introducing some workshops. run by the Federation of Small Businesses, Forum of Private Businesses, an enterprise agency that I'm a chair of, and different people will be running lots of different workshops. So lots going on. Highlights of that will be Facebook live stream. And then Tina can tell you just what she's doing in the studio. So that's down a corridor way, and that is it's like a little broadcasting studio, but we're just doing Hangouts. I'll let Tina explain that.
So we have some guests that join me live in the studio. So the studio is a very grand name. It started, I think, in a cupboard at Google for Works when we did the first one, and progressed through a office at Portobello Business Centre, Charlie Mullins' office at Pimlico Plumbers, a great space in 2018 in Manchester at XYZ Works, and then this year it will be in a big room in the Guildhall. So we have literally a laptop that we are streaming from, and we have people that join us via Google Hangout as well. It's very easy to do. It shows what facilities are available through live streaming. A little bit like yourself with the podcast, Deborah. You know, you can achieve some great things with this for your business, and it shows how that can happen. And it's always great fun because there's always some bloomers along the way, and you know, you can't just, a bit like not necessarily having enough space to get everybody's face into the camera on the YouTube. So we end up, I think it was at Portobello Business Centre, Emma Jones from Enterprise Nation came to join us, and there was 4 or 5 of us, and we were all sat on each other's knees. Check out 2016 and have a look at our Microbiz Matters YouTube channel. So yeah, everything goes out through the YouTube channel, Microbiz Matters. And there's some our previous years on there and some other playlists as well. So that's where it'll be streamed from. And yeah, it's always great fun. And as I say, there's always 1 or 2 little hiccups, but that's live. Crikey, if you've ever watched Children in Need or Comic Relief or any of those mammoth live events, you'll have seen even the experts and the professionals and the celebrities can make mistakes. So what hope is there for us getting it right?
And we'll have done at least 2 hours, or Tina certainly will have done at least 2 hours in the studio before the guests start arriving, because we actually start in the studio live streaming at 7 o'clock. Because as we've mentioned, lots of people, when they're sort of getting breakfast together and before the school run and various things are, you know, that's the only time they'll get during the day is actually to watch some of the live streaming then. So, you know, we have guests and activities going on. And of course, as you've seen, it's all themed. So every hour it's a different theme of in the studio. So
we did our first 2. We started them at 9 o'clock in the morning, but then we have people say to us, well, we don't get to see it because you start at 9. So he said, oh, well, we'll sort that for you. We'll start at 7. Yeah, so that's what we do. I think our first 7 o'clock was at Pimlico Plumbers in our onesies.
Yeah, that's right.
So can we expect onesies on Friday?
No, we've ditched the onesies because we don't fancy walking through the streets of Hull at 6 o'clock in the morning in our onesies, and we are walking through the streets of Hull at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, I think that could be worth doing.
Just think, I don't want anybody to think that Hull isn't a safe place, because it is. It's my home city, but I don't think they'll take too kindly to us walking through the city of Hull.
Although mine's a very nice onesie. My onesie was made by the All-in-One Company, and Kate, the founder of the All-in-One Company, they're based in Northumberland, she was one of our guests in one of our years, because she started off her business as a micro and grew it. So yeah, she's one of our guests. I'm trying to persuade one of my family members to be a guest as well, but I think there's going to be some serious bribery for that to happen. But hey ho, we'll see.
So you start off the day at 7 a.m. and that's with yourselves and a couple of guests maybe coming in early, but then the rest of the crowd starts to arrive at 9. Is that right?
No, from about 9:15.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Anybody that's daft enough to want to get up at 7 o'clock and join us. So there will be, Paul will be with us, Paul Lancaster, who has, he's been with us since the word go. He worked for Sage when we first started this, and now he has his own business, Plan Digital UK. He keeps us live, well, he keeps me live through the live streaming. So Paul will be with us. We'll probably have Charles and Mike from Hull, who have been amazing organising all of this. So from Hull's Youth Enterprise and John Cracknell Youth Enterprise Bank. And we may have the odd person join us via Google Hangout. But then gradually people start to arrive at 9. But let's be honest, running a micro business, especially if you're doing it part-time, you often have to work that 6 a.m. till 8:30, then take the kids to school and do whatever, and then come back and do, and or work in the evening. So maybe we should run it longer, right through into the evening. No, that's a bad idea.
Do I need to delete that bit?
Yeah, to be fair, we're having a dinner on Friday in our honour, aren't we?
Yes.
And Lord Mayor is hosting a dinner in honour of Microbusiness Matters Day, so that's really nice. But so we'll have to stay sober and behave ourselves, because in the past, I have to admit, a glass or two of wine have been consumed.
The crates of wine bottles have arrived.
And possibly been consumed.
Yeah.
Have been consumed before Friday. Well, turning right.
Microbusiness Matters, the 7-day podcast, has been brought to you by Bridge Road Consultants. It has been produced by Deborah Levitt, with original music provided by Dinley Penny Music and original artwork by Infinity Creative.
You've been listening to Deborah Levitt on Microbiz Matters, a 7-day podcast, part of Bridging Gaps, the business podcast.